Hi, June Mickens here. A lot of the work we do through Executive Advantage involves strategic thinking. Interestingly, the challenge for many people, whether at the individual or company level, isn't in recognizing and valuing the need to be strategic. They get that. Instead, the obstacle often arises in developing a disciplined process so that effective strategic thinking actually can occur and so something actually can be implemented. And that's at the heart of Executive Advantage work. It's about helping people move from knowledge to strategy and from strategy to action. So, in this video series, let's take some time to explore those critical stages. Today, we tackle stage 1. And the bottom line is this: successful strategy must start with knowledge. Unfortunately, the preparation, that knowledge gathering phase, often is overlooked in the strategic thinking process. You see, a strategy exercise that starts with, okay, what are our action items, probably will have questionable success. Why? Because approaching things in that way fails to consider two necessary questions that precede the action item stage. Here's prep question number 1. What am I, or what are we, trying to accomplish? There's an old saying that if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Oh my goodness, isn't that the truth? I can't tell you how many times I've sat with people in a goals review session and they share a long, elaborately prepared list of goals. Yet, when asked to boil down what they're actually trying to accomplish to 1 or 2 sentences, that's not always so clear. You see, it's essential to decide on a desired outcome at the outset. A lack of clarity about desired outcome is akin to building a house on sand. Without the firm foundation of having a good, clear picture of the end in mind, be prepared to be unsettled. So, pause here. Is this you? Test yourself. Look at your current plan. If you find yourself and/or your team or division or organization with simply a nice list, but no certain end result identified, you're probably dealing with a rocky foundation. And I'd bet that your strategy efforts are suffering as a result. That leads us to prep question number 2. What's our starting point? I often joke with clients that I can come up with any number of sensible plans to get to Los Angeles. What's going to be critical for my trip's success, though, at least in the first instance, is my starting point. My route to LA is going to look very different if I'm starting in Maryland than it would if I were launching my trip from Mexico. And it's the same with your strategy effort. Now, for a strategic thinking effort to yield success, it's important to consider where you are at the outset in 3 ways: in a realistic manner, in an unbiased manner, and in a non-judgmental manner. Now, by realistic, I mean gathering data and input that's genuine. Trust me, this is not the time to cherry pick what you'll use because it casts you or your team in the best light. Nor is this the time to be lazy and only consider what's easily available. Gathering and using realistic information may sting a little, and it may require some legwork to access a variety of sources, but it's necessary if you want an accurate assessment of the present state of affairs. Second, your starting point also should be unbiased. If you've ever watched the audition rounds of a show like American Idol, you'll know exactly what I mean. How many times do you see a young person who clearly does not have singing as a gift not only singing on television, but absolutely heartbroken once rejected. And invariably, who else is in the mix? It's mom or dad cajoling the tearful contestant with, "Baby, these people don't know talent. I think you're wonderful." These instances reflect a parent who is far from unbiased. In hearing with the heart rather than with the ear, that biased parent has set a believing child up for a severe fall. And in the process, the parent has contributed to the delay or even the rejection by that tone-deaf offspring of moving forward with realistic dreams. Well, we do something similar, though I hope not as public, when we pin our organizational or personal planning efforts on information that's biased. We can't plan without accurate perspective. Finally, the preparation for strategic thinking must be non-judgmental. You won't get people to open up and honestly communicate the information you need in order to assess how to move forward if they're afraid. What's coming your way may be hard to receive, but you will remain on shaky ground and continue to wonder why your planning efforts never really seem to click if you're unwilling to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly. Also, when the information comes in, your number one priority should not be to find the right person to hogtie. It's not about casting blame. It's about learning so that you can craft appropriate plans to get you closer to that desired outcome. So, let me ask you, how are you prepping, or how have you prepped for team level or personal strategic thinking? If you're serious about truly closing the gap between where you are now and where you'd like to be, you can't neglect these critical initial steps. With that in mind, why don't you let Executive Advantage help you prepare? We would be honored to work with you to clarify your desired outcomes and to grasp your starting point so that your planning can rest on a solid foundation. So contact us today. And don't miss next month's installment of the Successful Strategy Series. Our topic then is strategy development. Until the next time, take care.